tech support here as we're trying to figure out stuff. I am on location for Big Questions Medium Coffee in my parents' spare bedroom / craft room / dad's nap room. And so we've had some interesting stuff, but I still have a gigantic mug I borrowed from my mom's cupboard. It says imagine. Oh, perfect.
I got one to both leaves.
Well done. We were clearly on the same, even though the technology gods were against us. So thanks everybody for waiting. If you are joining us live, please do. We will see your comments, post them below. We'll try to follow up as we can. But then if you're seeing this on the replay, let us know too, because we love to know who sees these things. But let's dive right into this juicy world of Facebook ads. But also I want to hear more about your story of how you came here. First of all, introduce yourself, tell us about what you do and how they can find you afterwards.
Sure. So my name is Liana Hilland. I run a Facebook marketing agency. I primarily serve coaches and course creators looking to scale and automate their business, but I can help, any business wanting to run Facebook ads. You can find me on my Facebook page or Instagram at Liana Hilland and lianahilland.com. And I have a number of offers or like freebies if people want to get free 30 free live topics. If Facebook Lives are hard to do, and I'll talk about maybe a little bit why Facebook Lives are such a key thing when running Facebook ads, why they are so important. But coming up with ideas are really tricky. So it's a plug and play list that you can kind of put your own ideas in, and then you can set a calendar so you can come up with your own ideas, but it's all kind of done for you. So you can head over to my website and opt into that.
We'll dive into this. So I want to know this. So you just teased us a bit here. So why is doing Facebook Live so important when you're running ads?
Facebook uses relevant content to determine ad cost. So if your page is deemed relevant, your ads are deemed more relevant. So if your Facebook page is seen as putting out new content, particularly new video content, particularly live video content, your page is more relevant and your ad costs can go down by as much as 80%, like a huge amount. So people can sometimes get great conversions on their landing page and everything can kind of be going well, but their CPMs or their cost per impressions will be really high. Their ads are just really expensive and you can't really figure out why. And then you get them on their page live like a few days in a row and all of a sudden their ad costs go way down. And it's because the algorithm is like, oh, this person is relevant. This person is producing valuable content. Their page is relevant. Their ads are relevant. More people need to see these ads.
I love that. I love that.
So doing Facebook Lives are important.
Yeah, I haven't set up my page yet. And I've been like, I know I have to redo, because I've changed my branding and stuff. And so I'm just doing this for my personal. And I know you're not supposed to sell from your business from your personal, but I haven't moved everybody over there yet. But that's really good to know because Facebook ads have gotten more expensive. I haven't done them in about a year, but I've heard on the main streets of Facebook ads that the cost has increased exponentially. And I mean, it makes sense. It's expensive to run this and also capitalism. But anytime that we can reduce the cost in our business is better. It's better for businesses. So
absolutely.
So I want to know, how did you get into Facebook ads?
Well, so ages ago, I used to be a massage therapist and I, for a number of reasons, did not want to do that anymore. And I had started another business where I helped people share their story. I was going to compile their stories and, write like a book anthology and sell a book and kind of be a coach. But I had no clue what I was doing. Like, really? I had no clue how to sell my business, how to market myself, how to get my message out there. And when I found out about like learning to run a marketing agency, I saw how many people could benefit from knowing this information. And I feel like now I'm the person that could have maybe helped my former self, get that message out there in a more cohesive way, like by running a done for you agency, that I could have helped, the coach that needed to get their message out there, run the Facebook ads, run the marketing, get the funnel done, optimize everything, because that was the part that back then I had no clue. I had no clue how to do that. I was so worried at the time about making sure my website was perfect and making sure like my freebie was my gigantic freebie. Like I had no idea how to create a freebie that like anybody wanted. Right. And it was like gigantic and it was awful. And now I get to help people do that. And I get to help people, get a funnel going that can actually draw people in. And I get to set up ads to get people in that funnel and help them get those leads and get their message out there and get clients, instead of worrying about what font they have on their website and if their color scheme is perfect, and if they have the best headshot, which of course can be really important. And when you're more established, I think those are great things to fine tune. But when you're first starting, I think better things are like finding clients. I think figuring out what your message is and finding clients are probably more important. Like my website looks like not good. If I'm being honest, my website looks bad. It doesn't look good. It doesn't need to. I am in the I've done some like color scheme rebranding and I'm gonna fix it up, but that's not what gets you like really great clients. So there are some like industries where having like a super nice website is more important. But not it's not as critical as people think it is. Marketing really and getting clients that pay you. That's more important.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work for a major association that had multiple, like we're talking like registry, auto, insurance, people who've worked in these industries in the US and Canada that know what I'm talking about. It was really funny. We actually did this like membership drive, and like for years they had like these super ugly, like we're talking like Publishers Clearinghouse style type membership where you had to take the sticker from the one page and get the bonus from the other and read a certain piece of paper and do all these kind of things to get to do your membership. And one year somebody had this like great idea to just really update it. Like we're talking like beautiful font, beautiful header, none of these like kind of games. Well, I'll tell you something. Guess what tanked? The new campaign. And halfway through we pulled everything and went back to like the super ugly, and guess what? The numbers were up. And it was really interesting. It was a really wake up call for me because I was working in the website of it. They were in the print side, I was in the website, and I was like, And then I started moving into web usability, and I realized that, we don't need to make it absolutely beautiful. We need to make it functional. We need to make it usable. We need to help people buy easily. And so, this kind of stuff, which is interesting. We talk about the funnel, and you talk about this like a big opt-in. And then, like people were like, it's too much, or they don't know what to do next, or there's like, or maybe it answered everything for them. That's good. I'm good now. Bye.
Got all my answers. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for, it's really interesting because I hear a lot of like different schools of thought, like you can give away everything for free and the people will still pay for you. And like all this like kind of stuff. I'm like, there's a fine balance of like, intriguing people to work with you more and giving them all the answers they need.
I think you can give a lot away, but maybe not like the final pieces of the puzzle. Like you can definitely give a lot of value away, but there's maybe like advanced knowledge or like the final pieces that you maybe need to keep for paying clients.
So tell me about this. So like when you are working with somebody to kind of do that done for you, what's that like as a business owner when somebody comes to you and they need all that you can do? Like, what's that like for you as a business owner?
That's really exciting for me. When someone comes in and they're kind of starting from scratch, this is, I think, the part that ties into the old job that I have with helping people tell their stories, is because when I onboard clients, what I'm helping them do is tell their story. I'm helping pull out why it is they started, especially with coaching clients, because there are like a million coaches, and what differentiates one from another is their exact story of why they started their business and how they can help their clients. And so pulling that out in a really cohesive manner and getting that out through the ad and through the landing page and helping them write their own content for their, for their Facebook page and for their freebie, so that all the message kind of is cohesive through all three, three sections, is just like, that's the part that I really love. And then I get to kind of build those parts for them. And then they work on the free, they're the expert on their thing. So I don't do the freebie for them because like they're the expert on their thing. But yeah, so that part really excites me when I'm kind of helping somebody to, discover their story and really pull that out. And even when somebody is coming to me and they've kind of got it all laid out, maybe they're more established, I still find there's something that they're kind of holding back on. They think they have their story laid out, and there's a part of it that they weren't sharing, either because of not necessarily something super personal, because I never want somebody to feel like they have to, share something that they're not ready, but
right.
It's something that they just didn't think was relevant. Like, it didn't occur to you that other people needed to know this. And through asking questions, I can pull that out. And then when we write the ads, they're so personal and they're so connected directly to your audience that it just draws them in. And so that's like one of the things I love so much about onboarding clients. Pardon?
Give me an example of that. Like, what would be something somebody holds back?
I'm trying to not think of anything particular about I write a non-disclosure. So I'm trying to think of something not particular to any actual client of mine. But it could be just a detail. It could be like a specific detail of like, okay, I can use myself, for example. I had a bone infection and in my face. And so on my story before was that, okay, I had a bone infection and it was awful. But I had been in pain for years and nobody knew what was wrong. And then I was finally diagnosed and I had such tremendous relief. And it felt like this weight was shed off me, and it felt like afterwards that I could do anything. So what an incredible story. The detail of the story, though, that's missing is me in front of the fireplace, crying on my knees, in so much pain, but so relieved. Like that image, that visual image of me on the floor, crying in front of the fireplace, just in so much, like, feeling so much relief from finally knowing what was wrong, is like a detail that was missing from the story that connects so deeply to people that that just helps pull, like, that just connect, like it says, it's a specific image that connects to people. And those are the kind of details that I find a lot of people's stories are missing, because like everyone has a story that'll break your heart kind of thing, right? And it's the details of the story that we're missing, because it's like, oh, I had a job, or, I'm a single mom and I did this and this and that, or I was sick and now I'm not. And you need to get into the details of it.
Okay. It's interesting because, you work with coaches or consultants. So it's really interesting because in businesses, and I work with all kinds of businesses, not just the people businesses, but like products and services that don't necessarily rely on that personal story.
No, it's a little bit, it can go there, and sometimes it can do well, but it doesn't necessarily have to. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I think it's so important to tell that story. I think it's really interesting too when we look at businesses, who do have multiple social media fronts, or who do show up, like the LinkedIn, the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube, all of these different platforms now. You don't want to tell the same story. And I think this is where people get into this, especially when creating your funnel, because what's going to happen is I might see your Facebook ad if you're doing cold traffic.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on TikTok, and all of a sudden on TikTok, I see the TikTok of you. If it's the exact same visual or the same story part that I just saw in the Facebook ad, I'm less likely to get into it. I need the next bit, or I need an adjacent or a lateral part of that story that allows it to actually ingrain into me and be like, oh, wait, I recognize this. Same thing, like back and forth. If you're doing retargeting ads on Facebook, don't just show them the same ad again, show them the next step. They went to that page, they didn't buy. What else do they need to know in order for them to come back? Or do they just forget? Or, like that kind of like that cart recovery.
Were they missing something?
Yeah, so it's like really interesting. And I see that a lot of businesses get into this habit where they don't actually tell a story. They just say like, here's the ad, and I get it because I've done it too, where it's just like, here's what I have to offer, but I don't actually provide any kind of concept around it or what it is. I just like, here it is. And some people buy it, but there's other people who just need that full exposure. So it's really interesting on how you talk about developing the funnel. And a lot of people don't know that they need a funnel, or that they don't know what a funnel is. So maybe let's start there. And we'll kind of talk about it.
Yeah. So for me, a funnel is just kind of like the user experience as they start from someone in cold, like a cold person who doesn't know you at all, and go on their way to buying. So in my world of Facebook and Instagram ads, that typically means like you come across an ad, and it's usually for some kind of offer, like a freebie, a quiz, a guide, a challenge, a free webinar, free training. Sometimes it's for like a mini offer, sometimes it's for like an actual product or thing, but a lot of times it's for, like a free thing. And from there, depending on what it is you're ultimately trying to sell, there are different pathways that typically work better. So sometimes it's better to, have a webinar, and sometimes it's better to have a free guide and a webinar, and sometimes it's better to, just have a webinar or just have this. And then you add in email targeting and ad retargeting. Now that people have opted in, you can retarget them with a different set of ads. They don't get that same ad anymore. They get a whole new set. And then you can start doing what we talked about, is like retelling a story through your ads and through your content, by retargeting with them with that new stuff.
Yeah, I set up one time, I should do it again because it was actually worked really well, but it was like, basically if they saw the first ad and they watched within 15 seconds or 30 seconds, depending on the content of the ad, then they got the next ad, right? So that was like Facebook and Instagram. So it doesn't matter where they watched it, they got to see it, but it would show up again. So then they got to see the next part of the story. And so there wasn't actually any opt-in at the first, there wasn't an opt-in.
And that's another way you can do it. Yeah,
we just told the story over a week and a week or two of the launch. And so as people got the ad, and then at the end was the like, here you go, do you want to come join? And it was really interesting from a program perspective, because we didn't have to run a challenge. We didn't have to set up any like downloads. People just got this kind of story over the course of a week, and then they got the offer, and then they could come in. It wasn't a lead generation. It was already to retarget. Like we already they knew about us, but it was like people gave us such great feedback because they were like, oh, it was like this, like a little adventure we went on for a week where we got to do this, but there wasn't any pressure or ask.
And those those are like great retargeting like type ads, is that they don't feel like ads. It doesn't, and those are the best kind of ads. And that's why story-based ads do really well. And written out story-based ads tend to do very well for a cold audience, but video ads do really well for a warm audience, because they know your face and they want to hear from you.
Yeah. Knowing what I know now, one thing I would, when we do it again, I would put the call to action would be like, hear the whole story now. And then people could go and watch all the video,
they could just skip ahead.
Binge watch where it's Netflix. Are you still watching?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, do you want to keep going to the next episode? I think I will do that. That's the only thing I'll change. But it was really good. It was a feel-good campaign. People loved it. We had like a higher uptick. We've done it too for our shows. I run events in person, and it's kind of like these lead up, like here's a sneak peek, here's a sneak peek. But it wasn't like buy tickets. It wasn't like get on the list. It was just this warming up of traffic that already knew us, and it got them excited for them to show up. And so it's kind of like reimagining too what works for your business. And I think that's a challenge I have with a lot of Facebook ad experts, is that they have this kind of like cookie cutter, like you're going to offer a free book, and then they're going to go to this, and then they're going to go to this, and they're going to go to this. And it's like, there's so many different ways of doing business out there, and being able to create that storyline or that process that really feels good for you and the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, there are like a ton of different ways that you can run campaigns. And if somebody comes to me, like there's some people that come to me and they have nothing. They've never run ads. They don't really like, they know what they want to sell, but they've sold two, and they don't know who they're like. So we start with what is most common and what is most likely to convert, what is most typical. And then there are other people who come to me and they've already got something going. Their audience has like a certain vibe. They've sold a bunch, and it's like, okay, let's go with what is going on with your business and what you like to do and how you like to express yourself and how you like to get your story across, because that's how you've built your business, and that's what works for you, and that's what works for your business.
And your budget.
And your budget. Yeah.
Because that's a reality too, is that sometimes you just have to, if you're just starting out, you just want to get people on your list. So it's just a simple opt-in, and it's like, get on the list and then do the other work elsewhere, and don't let necessarily the ads do a lot of the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah. Because like you said, Facebook ads are not, they're not cheap. They're not cheap.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting. There was a Facebook expert that kind of annoyed me one time in a group that we were in, and, you know, they had posted about how they were upset about their client. They had, you know, had a $500 ad budget, and, you know, they were able to create, I think it was like $20,000 in sales, but the client wasn't happy. And I said, yeah, but how much was your fee to run the ads, like on a $500 budget? Like, honestly, I wouldn't recommend hiring someone when you only have if you only have $500 left to do ads, because it can cost that much just to figure out which ads are working, never mind actually getting
like if you only have $500 to do ads, then maybe you shouldn't run Facebook ads. It sounds awful, but it's true.
Right. Or don't hire someone who
that's what I mean. You shouldn't be hiring somebody.
Their fee was like $10,000, but they only had a $500 ad budget. I'm like, well, no, they didn't pay $500 to get a $20,000 revenue. They paid $10,500 to get a $20,000 revenue. I'm like, I wouldn't have recommended them going with you again either if I was their business or their accountant. I'd be like, this is a great investment. So what would you like? What do you like to look like if someone came to you and said, I want to run this? What's your dream budget number that you love that they come to you with?
So when people first come to me, I don't like working with a minimum. Like, I don't want to spend less than really $2,000 US a month.
Right.
You can, but I don't really like to. The reason is that when you're running Facebook ads, what you're really doing is you're collecting data. Yes. And you're using that data to determine what your next step should be. Yes. And so, you know, we run the ads, and then we take the metrics and we go, okay, we need to change the copy of the ad, or we need to change the headline and the picture, or nope, the ad is perfect. The ad is working. The ad is bringing people to the landing page. The landing page is not working. Converting. That's not converting. Okay, the landing page is converting. Perfect. Nobody is buying. Nobody's buying. Okay, so why aren't people buying? Does nobody want it? Like, do people just flat out not want it? Or are people not getting it? Are we like dropping the ball in the message, either with retargeting ads, either with like your posting isn't like your message isn't strong enough. Like, do you need to work on your messaging? Like, what do we need to do? So, or maybe your webinar isn't that good. Like maybe your free training isn't that good, or you made a guide and you know what, it's not that great, or and you need to rewrite it. Like getting people to like write a webinar and then record a webinar and then rewrite one and then re-record it and then rewrite it and re-record it. That takes time. Like I don't like to rewrite and re-record webinars. So I don't blame my clients when they don't want to do that either. But it takes time to do that. So if you don't have like the budget and the staying power to like hang out for that, then sometimes like Facebook ads can't work, you know what I mean? Like it can't always work. Or it can be just be very costly. And like, that's okay. When you get to the end of that, it can be like magic because you've got the ads that work, a funnel that converts, and you've got, whatever it is that is, converting people, whether it's your free guide or a video or whatever, and you've got your offer. And so now you've got like a machine that you can just send traffic to and put people through, and it works just automatically. But it takes time to like build that out. So some people come to us and they've already got everything kind of half ready, like everything just needs tweaking. And other people come to us and they have nothing. And so sometimes you kind of get it right, and you get it right like almost on the first try. And it's like rare, but it happens. And other times it takes a few months.
Yeah. Okay. So a few months. So 1 to 3 months before you actually get your sweet. Yeah. I think this is important that we talk about this because I think a lot of people too they'll come to an ads person and they'll say, okay, I have a launch in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, absolutely nothing. What can we do? Nothing. Hit me up for the next launch.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, I don't want to say that you can do quick turnarounds in your business. You can put out a product if you've already built up the warm audience and they're ready to buy. But the reality is that when we're doing ads, for the most part, is we are doing the warm up. We're doing the like you're gonna see this ad 6-8 times maybe before you actually even click through on it. Never mind the fact, because that's the other thing too, is like people think, oh, well, the first time people saw this ad, they didn't click through, so it wasn't good. No, they were doing other things.
They were just busy. Yeah,
they're busy, or they just didn't really see it at all. And then like it was like the 4th time that they heard that song, or they heard your voice, they stopped and watched it. And I think there's like this kind of expectation that it's just like, I see an ad, I purchase it, and I move on.
No,
it's not realistic.
No, I mean, I can think of things where I've been like, I've either followed someone or I clicked on an ad, and like 8 months later, I bought something.
Yeah.
After being on their mailing list and seeing their ads for months.
Yeah.
I can also think of a time where I saw an ad for the very first time and spent literally thousands of dollars. So like there's
absolutely.
Literally,
I've done that too, but there's also the reality that we think we saw it for the first time.
But
that's
true.
We had a subconscious had caught bits of it. And then when we had the time to actually sit down and process it, that's when we saw it, but we thought it was the first time.
It's true.
Yeah. So there's all these and there's all these parameters that kind of go into this. And so I love that we're talking about this, because I think, like I said, a lot of people just realize like, they're just like, I'm just going to start some Facebook ads. And I'm like, whoa, no. You can spend a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money just being like, I'm just going to throw out a Facebook ad and see what happens. No, like it has to actually have kind of like a matrix of, what are all the different, and like you said, when you go live on your page, you want to make sure that it's relevant to your ads, because Facebook uses that AI to determine what your ad score is. So when you think about that in particular, the content that's going out that Facebook uses, but also it is hitting, the stuff that you put on your page that isn't paid. It is reaching an audience as well. The engagement that's going in there, all of that goes into parts of your, your ad score and your ability to reach the targeted people that you want to see.
Yeah. And Facebook Lives also make really great like retargeting ads for your warm audience. So they make wonderful, inexpensive ads to just like keep people warm and happy and familiar with your brand. So they make really great ads, and yeah, keep your ad costs down.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you said. Like, to be like, if this is good, if there's something good in here, I'm gonna want to click the retargeting ads. I'm like, yeah, that's smart, right? And that's what we're doing too. I mean, people are just turning this and like, why is Marisa doing big questions, medium coffee all of a sudden? Well, part of it is we're building platforms for people to find really great content about how to run their business. So parts of this conversation that we're having will now get repurposed into other things we're doing. It'll be on the website. It'll be on taking the audio, we're putting it into a podcast. All of this is search engine optimization. It's stuff for ads. It's all of this kind of collateral that we're creating that has this consistency and this cohesiveness, and we're putting it together. This is a huge, I have like a huge spreadsheet of all of the pieces that we're creating for all of these different conversations and how it fits.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
All of it to reduce the overhead costs in our business as well, right? So there is a bit of this roadmap that we look at. Facebook ads is just one part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't even told you all the stuff that I'm going to do this time. I gave you a little bit of an insight as we were doing tech support, trying to get this to work. But like, yeah, that's the thing is I have like a 3 to 5 year game plan. We're doing Pinterest Pinterest, and then we'll have Pinterest ads. We'll have, like there's LinkedIn ads we can do. Like there's all these different components that we're doing off of this one interview. Has all these different aspects.
That's so incredible.
That cohesiveness. Yeah, this is my brain. The cohesiveness, but it's what you're saying though, right? Because if people see a portion of what we're talking about, and then they go to my website or they go to your website, like there should be that cohesiveness. Right? Even if it might be your background on you're doing this and you're doing more lives, that familiarity of that green background.
Yeah.
People will recognize it.
Yeah.
People will feel like, oh, I've seen Liana's stuff before. I'm going to watch it this one time. And we don't think about all of that consistency sometimes when we're creating stuff, but it's these little pieces that we can put into place in our ads, in our background, on our website that will allow people to feel that familiarity. That's what increases their propensity to buy from you.
Yeah. When it feels familiar, they're more likely to trust it. It feels, when you, that's a common thing with ads and funnels. When the ad and the funnel or wherever they're clicking onto don't mesh together, something seems off.
Yes.
They don't line up somehow. People click away, like almost instantaneously.
Yes.
They're just like, this isn't what I clicked on. It doesn't match. It doesn't feel familiar. I don't trust it. So when something feels familiar, like it's like instantaneous trust.
Yeah. It's why the celebrity gurus, when they do their funnels, they'll have the video of them talking in the ad, and then they do a screen cap of them talking in the ad. And that's the first picture you see on the landing page is that. It isn't an actual video. It's just a screen capture of them talking, but it has the exact same background. You were just watching this video. You're like, I'm in the right place. The click worked, and then you'll keep going on.
Yeah, it's the same page. I'm in the right spot. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting too. Speaking of talking about this, so Facebook now, I mean, Facebook doesn't want you to go off the platform. So they created these little mini, like these mini websites that you can create. How do you feel about those? The like Facebook forums and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. So I don't particularly use them too much. I find like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't use them too much. I don't really use them. I still just like pixel, the website like normal and have people come over, because once you get people off Facebook and collect their data yourself, you can, it's yours. So as much as it's great to keep people on Facebook, because especially with the iOS changes, we can very easily track and make custom audiences based on what happens on Facebook and Instagram. But we have no control once people leave. So what we really want is people to leave and for us to collect that data for ourselves. That means getting their email, getting their phone number, getting whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I tend to want to get people on in someone else's system.
It's funny because and it's interesting because another friend of mine who runs ads and does search engine optimization, has an agency. She had posted, I posted a screenshot from an ad, and it was so funny because it still says form on Facebook, and you can edit that part of your ad so it doesn't say form on Facebook. It'll say join our community or
yeah.
want to add, and everybody leaves it as form on Facebook. And all I keep thinking is like, it doesn't actually give me more trust. I don't really want to give Facebook more information.
No.
I would rather go to your website and give it to you and not have it Facebook. So It's been interesting kind of seeing the adoption of these and how it's worked. In addition to like Facebook, and Instagram, basically you can have like your own store running on Facebook, and sell items directly from Facebook. I'm like, I don't want it. I want it on my website. I want to be able to do.
I think it's nice that like people can browse around.
Yeah.
But I don't, honestly, I'm not sure how many people click and purchase through there. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how many people click and purchase through, but I think it is important to have it because I think people browse around that way. Like people window shop that way for sure. So it's important to have it set up like your stores on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, I honestly don't know how many people, like how well that is used. You know what I mean?
I like I said, I still prefer, you can have the products up there, but I still prefer going to the
me too.
Because there's also things like upsells and there's like things that you want to be able to do that allow people to have, like, it's like, I always think of like the jewelry designer. I'm going to click on the earrings, but then when I go to the website, you can offer the matching necklace and bangle. And you can't do that. So you can sell the pair of earrings in Facebook, and then you can send them an email afterwards and try to upsell there. But it's so much more powerful. Like if I'm looking for a set for a wedding or something, I want to buy
to have it right there.
So there's a lot of things like from the business perspective, and also just again customer service, really great customer service, where I look at like upsells or like here's complimentary things that would go well with that earring. That to me is customer service. It's also increasing sales for the business, but it's customer service from the customer standpoint, because I don't want to have to go looking
totally
for something that's complimentary.
I used to work at McDonald's when I was a teenager. And one thing they always would have us do, and it would really annoy people, did you want to like large size, or what was it called? They changed it to large size in I don't know.
Upsize, I think, or
whatever. They big size it, whatever. And at first it was like it's super size. That's what it is. I was gonna say, but then super size came out, and we weren't allowed to say that anymore. So they like made up some new word, and I couldn't remember. So so we had to ask if people wanted it supersized. And at first it's like annoying to constantly like be asking, did you want it supersized? Did you want it supersized? Did you want it supersized? Because most people would say no. But it's like anytime you forgot to ask, people would be like, you'd bring them their order and they'd be like, oh, I wanted it supersized. Like it was as annoying as it was to constantly be like trying to push this extra food on people. It was also customer service, because people did want that. People did were looking for that. And by not offering it, you were like neglecting what they really wanted. So it's just like you said, having that extra necklace there. Yeah. When they get the earrings, it's like, oh, they were looking for like a coordinating set. Just handy that it was right there for them to just click on that.
The car wash, when you go to fill up your gas, I always forget to wash my car, but like when it asks, I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I do. And I'm going to do this in one transaction, because then I don't have to go in and pay somewhere else. Like, yes, give that to me all at once. Yes. So it's kind of things like that. So it's like thinking about your business. Again, this is where I have like that spreadsheet. It's like, if they're going to want one, what are they going to watch? Like, so after we put this up on the website, things I'm like, okay, what goes well with Facebook ads? What's the side dish with a Facebook ads, right? I might be, if we end up talking to someone more that's, a funnel expert where they go deep into that. I want to put videos together because I want people to be able to hear from different perspectives and hear from different experts, so that they can hear what you say, they can hear what they say. We're going to start combining those together so that they can easily find the people that they need to work with.
That's so smart.
Yeah. We're going to create Pinterest boards of like everything Facebook funnels. And, we're going to grab, like, I'm giving away all my secrets, but it's okay. Everyone can do this. It's all really great search engine optimization. But, like we're going to create after this, and we edit the video, we're going to create Pinterest boards with all the little clips that we grab from you. And we're going to, and your freebies, your links to your freebies. And we'll create a Pinterest board so that people can actually look up that Pinterest board that, like the 25 things you need to do for your Facebook ads, right? Mm-hmm. To optimize or to spend less on Facebook ads. Yeah, it's going to have our video. It's going to have your freebie update. Like all of that as a Pinterest board. It helps us because we create the brand where people are going to start to come to here to create the rules to find the best content. It helps you because it's search engine optimization back to your website. It's links from our website, from Pinterest. It also helps them because they can quickly grab all that information. They don't necessarily have to go through the website. They can just click through, go to your opt-in page, and get it right away.
Genius. I love it.
Thank you. I am a bit of an evil genius.
Well, and that's one thing I know now. I love too is that, so when people come to me to do Facebook ads, they're kind of like, okay, so I can just stop doing everything else.
No.
And I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. You can take a back, like, if you've been hustling really hard, like, especially like on Instagram, like, doing all the reels and posting constantly, like that can take it down a notch for sure. The daily, like, or the multiple times a day posting can relax a lot of times. But you still have to engage your audience on multiple platforms, especially if you've built a business, like organically.
Yeah.
You still need to engage them. Now you can take it down, like, that can take a back seat and the ads can help bring in cold traffic, but you still need to like do those other things. You still need to like, do your Pinterest board, and you still need to like, do some Instagram or maybe a couple more stories instead of like constantly making dance videos for reels or something. But
or be on podcasts. I mean, that's the thing too, is like there's something really genius. I always tell people, if you're on a podcast, what you want to do is when you drop your link, create a link that's specific for the podcast. So it's like, if you want to get my opt-in, go to createtherules.com/ the podcast or whatever the link is. That has the cookie on it. Like then you can do the retargeting specifically for people who heard the podcast.
Oh, and who so smart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or you could do it like even who have actually gone through, not just they clicked on that page, but they downloaded the freebie that was specific for that podcast. Then you run the ads that say like, as seen on Bob's podcast. And they're like, wait,
how did they not sell that?
Right? And so it's part of these things where you start to layer in, and how do you use Facebook ads to accentuate or amplify the other things that you're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Now you've just learned, you're like, what client can I, podcasts are really great for that, or like speaking engagements, right? They're at a conference or they're doing a summit. That page that they do specifically for that, they can then do those customized retargeting ads that reference what the person just saw. It jogs their brain. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. I just heard that. Or oh wait, I didn't actually hear their talk at the summit.
But I'm going to
go and then be able to go back. Or, I mean, even better is if you're like, if you missed it or you want to watch it again, I have the replay from the summit on my website. And then you get
that's what he's good.
Again, like it's like bringing that, it's accentuating and bringing that up. I love the possibilities for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just opportunity of reminding people that you exist.
Yeah. And the way that we can split content up now, like that you've mentioned that you're doing, is just like so incredible. Because before it would be like you had to make individualized content for everything. And now you can just like edit it down and make little snippets, and editing tools are your friends, and schedule it up. And I mean, it takes organization and it takes time, but it's quite incredible to be able to create one really stellar piece of content that's like, long, like this podcast, right? And then make it into multiple pieces of content that have many different kind of even like headlines or like almost different almost different topics even within this podcast topic.
Yeah, I mean, like when we think about like what I'll do after this is like, yeah, we'll create the pop-up video where we go into even a little bit further detail about what Facebook ads are. That'll come up in a couple months, so that gives you additional traffic back later on. There'll be the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube Shorts. We'll grab all these little like bits and pieces out of it. The descriptions in YouTube all point back to you, so that's search engine optimization. We take the audio, we'll put it up onto the podcast. We take the transcript, that becomes a blog piece on our website. So search engine. So there's all these different components that not only help us, but it helps you as well.
Yeah,
You
it's so incredible what you're doing.
Run some Facebook ads. I can do that as well. It's like, here's some stuff. And when we think about like when we add in those extra layers of like affiliate marketing or things that we do, there's so much other opportunities where, if I was an affiliate for one of your, I'm not, but if I was an affiliate for one of your programs, I could run this as an ad, and they could, and I'd say, I'm going to win an extra bonus when you buy Liana's product.
Yeah.
This becomes a personalized experience where then people know me and they know you, and they get kind of an idea. Again, it's that familiarity. It's that introduction before they buy the product.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm giving away lots of like, this will be the one to watch if you're like, what are all the ways that I can make money off of here? But this is, I love this, right? Because again, we're building things that fit a business.
Mm-hmm.
We're not building the business to fit the things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, one thing I do ask everybody here is what are some obstacles that you're personally facing in your business?
Obstacles that I'm personally facing in my business right now. I think one is from, it's kind of like personal / business. It's more like scheduling.
Oh.
Getting my schedule, schedule organized is to figuring out what hours I want to work, because I feel like that's fluctuating a lot for me right now, just personally. Yeah. Like I've got my work hours that I kind of, like I'm doing all my work in a week, but my hours are fluctuating a lot, like what they are each day, and I'm not loving it.
I get that. Yeah, so do you have like a combination of like where you work like one-on-one with the client to get their needs or to like fine tune?
Yeah. So I have like a kind of set hours that I meet with clients, because typically, so in the first month, it's like very high touch. So I'm meeting like weekly with the client, like on Zoom, so that we can like get everything built and ready to go to start ads, because we've got to like make sure everything is right before we even hit go. Because we don't want to waste any, spend any money on Facebook ads if if things aren't ready. But then after that, besides meeting, I'm writing ads, I'm writing copy, I'm researching audiences, I'm playing with stuff in the Facebook ads manager, I'm trying to find pretty pictures for ads, I'm rewriting their content for middle of funnel. Like, so that's not stuff that I need to be with someone, right? So it's like whenever I'm whenever I want to do it. So it's one of those perks of being a business owner, right? Where you can do it whenever you want. But I also don't love that it's just a little bit, the day to day is just a little bit too the changes are too crazy right now. I need to get my schedule sorted a little bit.
I get it. I get it 100%. And it's interesting because I really rely, and a lot of people are like amazed by this, but like, so for example, you signed up, you just got a link. You could pick whatever day you want that was available, right? And then I just show up. Like I want to get to the point where I have these like 5 days a week. So like Sunday we would say, here are the 5 guests, and here's what we've got coming up, so we can do additional promotion. But I just want to know when to show up. And that's just like my personal way, right? And a lot of people are confused by that. Like I'll say, here's a calendar, book a time with me or book a session. Yeah. And then people are like, but what's the best day for you? I'm like, whatever day you can see, and those times is good for me. Yeah. And I want to stop talking about this now.
Yeah, just pick one.
So pick one. But it also is interesting because what I found is that, especially with coaching, is that I kind of really only wanted to coach on Mondays, like, or Tuesdays, right? And that didn't always work for all my clients. So it's like, I found that I was like maybe doing I was doing most of them on Tuesday, and then I'll have like one on Thursday. Wasn't really great because then I had to like stop. And like after coaching, if anybody ever works one-to-one client work, coaching, consulting, whatever, there's like, you need downtime.
Yeah.
Like you have to like it's like you have to smell the coffee beans in between the perfume samples, right? And so it was just like, oh, all of a sudden I had this like one client on Thursday, and you know, fantastic client, but then the rest of my day was kind of meh, because then I was like in mode, but I only had one client that day. So I get that, like that scheduling, sometimes it's hard because you still have work to do for your own business, because you are doing client work for your clients, but you're also building your business and getting more clients.
And I mean, I'm talking to a lot of like, you know, I take, you know, everyone calls them like a strategy call, right? It's a sales call. Like, I'm talking to people who are interested in running Facebook ads, and they want to see if they're a good fit for my business. And so taking those calls, and I'm talking to people who, you know, are in Canada and US, but also Australia and New Zealand. And so you know, it's, and I'm on the West Coast. So, you know, it's like 8:30 at night for me, and I'm talking to someone, right? So, it can like sometimes that's totally fine. And other times I'm like, oh, I'd rather not be doing this. Oh, I'd rather only be doing it at nighttime. So I'm just trying to find like a good balance of my schedule. So, and I have 2 little kids, so that probably is also a factor in the fluctuation.
And that's what as they grow up, like their needs are going to change, your needs are going to change. It's really interesting. It's like one of those things these are things that we don't necessarily talk about in business, that I love that we're talking about, because people don't always think about like, what's my schedule going to be like? Or how do I be diverse for my clients? Because I want to be able to take that 8 o'clock at night because it worked really well in Australia or whatever, right? Like it's kind of things that we don't think about. Okay, well, that's good luck with that. Have you come up with a solution? Come back on and we'll have a chit chat.
I will,
I don't even have. I'm like, I'm not there yet. Although I'm getting really good at being like, here's the calendar link. Figure out what works for you. Like I'm getting better. Because I have had this calendar link for like 6 years, but I still be like, okay, they want to talk about what day works. Okay, we'll talk about this. Now I'm getting to the point I'm like, you gotta figure it out on your own.
You figure it out for yourself, or don't bother.
You gotta I got other stuff to do. But what's an opportunity that you have, what's working for you in your business? What's exciting? What are you like looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? So one thing that I'm really kind of excited about is a recent offer that I've started doing is for performance-based ads. So, so for people who already kind of have their stuff together. So this isn't an offer for people who are new. This is an offer for people who are, you know, maybe they've been running some ads on their own, and it's just maybe not been going super well. They've made sales, and we can see that the funnel converts, and that they've made a bunch of sales, but the ads aren't working. I will run your ads on a performance basis, which means that I don't get paid if you don't get results.
Ooh, there are a lot of people angry at these kind of performance. I know a lot of ad managers who are like, ooh, and I haven't really talked to them. I'll have to bring them on. Maybe we'll have a panel between someone who's angry at that and someone.
Come talk to me. The reality is that I can't offer. I think when I hear people get like their back up about whatever, or it's a scam, like that's what I hear. I hear people say it's a scam. And when I hear that, I realize they don't understand that this isn't for everyone. This is for people who have run ads, have a cracked funnel, and just have ads that suck.
Yeah.
So this isn't for somebody who's new.
Yeah.
This isn't for somebody who's not spent any money on it. Like this isn't for a new person. This is for someone who's ready to scale, like to the next level, with like some really, really awesome ads.
Yeah, it actually answered my favorite question is what would make this even better? And that is what this is like, what would make this even better? Somebody who doesn't know anything about my business, come in, do an audit, figure out, do some testing, and like make it even better. So it's something that's already working, but it could be better. And then you come in, show how it could be better, and then you get either, is it like a percentage of their sales?
Yeah, it's usually we honestly, I work it out based on the person of what they sell. Like we work something out together. Honestly,
Yeah.
we always work something out that I think is fair with the person, because I want both of us to feel good about it. It's not just like a set thing. I want both of us to feel good about it.
I'm a big fan of the percentage of sales, because I think then it's like you and I have if you were doing that with my ads, we've entered into a partnership. You've now become a part of my business. So my success hinges on your desire to be my success, and your success hinges on my desire to be success. So it becomes this really great opportunity to both share in the reward of doing a really great job. Because that's, like you said, it could be that you might also just say, hey, I need you to do 3 or 4 lives this week, just so that we can drop the percentage and allow us to
price down.
Yeah, or to experiment a bit more, right? Because when we drop that price too, we have then an ability to run 3 or 4 different tests ads at the same time. Whereas if everything was in one budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I love that. That's exciting. You'll have to let us know. Send me the links for how people can get into
for sure.
Meet you for that, because we'll attach it below here and as well on your page on the website.
Sure.
But I want to thank you for waiting all of this time. We had like such a delay getting on, so thanks for your patience. But now we figured out what the problem is. Now they've got to figure out, the tech support has to figure out how I broke their software.
I'm sure it wasn't you. Maybe.
I mean, maybe my background image was not good for them. Who knows? It could be me. I'm never one of those like people that's like, your software needs to figure. No, it could totally be me. I have been on the other end of customer service and was like, actually, it's you doing this. So I'm never ashamed to be the one that broke something. But I want to thank you so much. This has been exciting. You have to come on again. We'll talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so excited to have been on here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about ads, and we'll talk more about all these things. Just real quick, how can people find you? What's the website, and what should they be downloading first from your website?
Okay, so on my website, 30 live topics. If you are stuck for figuring out what to talk about on your Facebook Lives, you can head to my website, lianahilland.com, and there's like a plug and play cheat sheet where you can figure out your 30 live topics. So you can download that. lianahilland.com/performance. That's where people can find my find out more about my performance-based ads if they want to book a call to talk to me about that. And I also have a ads mastery ebook. If people are like, I just want to run this on my own. If people are just like, I want to know your ad strategy, I don't actually have an opt-in for that. So you will have to find a way to DM me or email me or fax me or send a pigeon to find me or something. So you will have to, I don't have an opt-in for that or anything yet. So 2021 ads mastery, figuring out Facebook ads for yourself, learn my entire ad strategy for coaches and course creators specifically. So if that's something you want, you have to send me a message somehow.
Do you have Instagram?
I do.
What's your Instagram?
At Liana Hilland.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's how you can help Liana be even better, not only in her Instagram ads, but also her just organic engagement. Go DM her on Instagram at Liana Hilland, because Instagram loves it when people DM brands. They actually think that they're then a trusted provider, and when Liana responds, that also adds in. So go.
I've got the link all to send for the PDF to send already, so
Perfect.
I can send it.
So go DM Liana Hilland. We'll help her increase her Instagram organic reach, because she has done such an amazing job here and has shared with us so much knowledge. The lives, the Facebook lives, that was like the biggest gem ever. We're gonna use that everywhere, because that's a good gem.
I don't run ads all the time, but whenever I do, I go live. I don't really love doing Facebook lives, but that's how you can tell I'm running lives or running cold traffic ads. Is like,
Yeah.
Liana's doing a Facebook live, so obviously she's running cold traffic ads. So
that meme, you remember the was it the Dos Equi guy, or like the most interesting man alive, and he was like, I don't always, drink beer, but when I do,
yes,
you'd be like,
totally,
I don't always do Facebook lives, but when I do, it's because I'm running cold traffic ads. there's your like TikTok reels. Yeah, there's your like meme that will go viral. I think it'd be hilarious. I would totally share
I love it.
Yeah, we'll take a picture of you and we'll do a meme for it. Well, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining. Again, if you saw this live or the replay, let us know. Otherwise, this will be up on the YouTube channel for you to see anytime you like. And thank you again, Liana. I really appreciate it.
No problem.